Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guest, man.
Today we have IMAF Youth Gold Medalist, Cage Legacy, and IUR champion. He's undefeated in the amateur ranks. He trains out of SBG Nace, SBG Charlestown, and out of DCA. It's the undefeated Max Lally, live from Kerrigan's Butchers. Max, how you doing?
All good. How are you, lads?
Look at this man, dedicated to the Energized show. Even in work, he's on here doing interviews with the lads.
That's it. Putting in my shift.
You have to love it, Baz, don't you?
Yeah, but that intro was brilliant as well. For the people that are new to the show, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening right now on Spotify, they've added a new feature in how you can rate how many stars you think the show is. If you want to give us 5, it's Christmas time. Like even Max is in the back in work right now doing this. So this is a 5-star show that we're bringing to you. Ross, tell the people listening right now why Max Lally is on the show right now.
Well, Max is on the show because he is the Energized Amateur Irish Male Fighter of the Year, 4-0 with the Youth Gold Medal. Max, like, what a year for you! Like, tell us, like, how much this year has meant to you, man.
Oh, it's meant a lot. People have seen it as like a huge achievement and stuff. I only went 18 in August and stuff like that, and I decided I wanted to test myself against all the as much amateur fighters as I could before the year ended. A lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication went into it. Within working, within training, like nutrition, everything. I really, really stepped up my game. Like after I won the Worlds, because I knew it would be a big step up fighting bigger, physically stronger people than me, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, for me, it's just I love doing it. You know what I mean? I've loved doing it since I'm a little kid. I do it purely out of love for the sport, and I'm just genuinely happy where I am right now. It meant huge, a lot to me, to my coaches, to my gyms. It means a lot to me to be able to go out and represent myself, my coaches, and my gyms.
Baz, we first saw Max live put on his performance at Cage Legacy there. I think it was last weekend. What did you make of his performance?
I thought it was brilliant, Max. I mean, like ever since you won the gold there and then turned 18, we've been even more concentrating on your work. Every time someone comes on, we just shout them out more and more and more, and we're more following their career. But the way you went in, did the business, and it was just like a water off a duck's back. The following you had there as well is also so important. Myself and Ross always talk about this, how important it is to have like an actual following before you go anywhere. Like, look at some fighters in the UFC right now; they haven't got a following, so therefore they're not going to get a push. But you, as an amateur right now, it seems like you have the whole country behind you, Max.
Something like that. I just I had everyone there that's closest to me. Everyone that I loved was there. You know what I mean? Everyone that I have some sort of bond with was there. You know what I mean? I even got one of my best mates, Pino, to walk out holding the belt for me. He would have been my mate since I'm about 4 years of age. You know what I mean? And he's been supporting me since 4 years of age right up until now. We're mates over 10 years, like, you know what I mean? So those are the type of people I have there. People that I know have my best interests at heart, you know what I mean? And it just means so much to me to see them happy that I'm doing well, you know what I mean?
He actually took a picture of us after the fight, didn't he?
Oh, was it? Shout out Pino.
Pino, yeah, that was him. He's the one that took the picture, yeah.
But even just comparing yourself, like obviously Conor McGregor is the most famous fighter in the world. The way like even his parents didn't even really support his goals, and then straight away from amateurs, like your family are all there, all making noise.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
just this wave is something brilliant to watch.
Oh, 100%. I think as an amateur fighter, it's so important to have that support. And if you don't have the support, okay, it might be a bit more difficult to get to your destination, but it's making it that bit easier for me knowing that I have that support at home, supporting me friends, supporting me whole entire family, and even just supporting me coaches and me training partners. You know, that pushes me a lot. Like, you know, and people mightn't think it does, but it's those days where you feel like you're tired, sore, and you don't want to train. Those are the people that push you, you know what I mean? It's like I get my dad, my mom, my little brother, they all push me every day to be the best version of myself. You know what I mean? I couldn't thank them all for it.
Yeah, big shout out to John and Yvonne, although Yvonne does get on to us now if you're cursing the podcast. She says
I have to make sure I'm cursing interviews.
No, we'll block that bit out. But Ross, like obviously Max trains in SBG Charlestown, SBG Nace, and DCA. Like you would have thought that someone that goes to multiple gyms like wouldn't get as much support, maybe because maybe he's not tying himself down to one gym. What do you sort of make of the way Max is actually doing it totally different, but getting support?
Well, I think he's looking to get the elite everywhere he goes. And I think sometimes when you're open and transparent about what you're trying to do and how you want to go about it, I think how you go about it is a big way that, like, I'm sure you have those open conversations with Collie Matten, with Owen Roddy, with Sergey, that you're like, look, I want to go do some wrestling with Sergey. I mean, like, I don't think anyone can question someone going to wrestle with Sergey. He's one of the best wrestlers in the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Like, you don't get that Moldovan wrestling anywhere else. I mean, like,
Yeah, shout out
PCA,
to Albert, isn't it?
Albert, yeah,
Oh,
Albert's a
yeah.
little animal.
Yeah, his son. Yeah, Jesus, like that.
yeah,
dog's an
he
animal,
was
so-
wrestling. He was wrestling some young fella in the crowd at Cage Legacy as well. I was like, the poor fella he was
I
wrestling.
think it might be my little brother.
Oh, was it?
It's
well, then,
probably my little
then I
brother.
don't feel bad from then. It's fine.
Uh,
And then, like, obviously, Collie Mann, like, Craig Coakley's one of the best Thai boxers the country's ever
Yeah, no.
produced.
Yeah,
And
shout out
then,
Craig.
obviously, Owen Roddy, like, can put it all together. So, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. I think it's brilliant. What is that like, trying to separate your time going to each spot?
So the time management is a huge thing. Like it's a huge thing. I think it's so important to be able to have like good time management. But me as an athlete, the way I see it is it's not my coach's job to make sure I'm training. It's my job. You know what I mean? My coaches are going to be there to coach me and guide me in the right direction. But if you ever see, I'm that athlete where it's like I want it more than me coach. You know what I mean? I want to make it. Like I've that hunger to make it. But I see so much people. It's almost like the coach pushes the athlete more. But for me, they understand that I'm hungry and I want to get better and I want to fight the best in the world and I want to go all over the world fighting the best in the world. And Collie, Sergey, and Owen, they have that understanding. They've been away. They've competed against the best in the world. You know what I mean? They've gone over coaching athletes competing against the best in the world. Like Craig went away and he fought like one of the best Thai fighters there in France, and he got robbed in a decision. You know what I mean? So they all have that world class experience in each category, in wrestling, in MMA, and in Thai boxing. You know what I mean? And Thai boxing, it's more striking than Thai boxing. If you ever look at Craig, he's one of the most he doesn't look like a Thai fighter when you see him like striking. You know what I mean? He's more of a boxer with beautiful kicks, beautiful setups. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm trying to add all the stuff he does into me game, all the stuff Sergey does into me game, all the stuff Roddy does into me game. I'm trying to become as complete as I possibly can. And I just don't understand why people, it's like if I'm around someone and someone's associated with me, I represent everyone that's associated with me. You know what I mean? I represent them 3 gyms. Every time I walk into that octagon, those are the 3 gyms that I train out, and those are the 3 gyms that I'll always stay loyal to. You know what I mean? It's just me as an athlete, I see it as my job to get better. It's my job, and it's like I feel like I am progressing a lot quicker in them 3 gyms than if I was to stay in the 1 gym.
And Baz, you have to say, like, you can see that progression as well. You know what I mean? Obviously, he choked out Alex Connolly at Cage Legacy, but also, like, he dropped Maga at your fighting championships as well. So, you know what I mean? Those hands are coming, and I think, I don't know, Max, maybe you feel like people might underestimate your striking game because you're sort of known from the jiu-jitsu world.
Yeah, it's developing. You know what I mean? Like anything, I literally only started striking properly since January. You know what I mean? I boxed as a kid for a few years, but I was never really consistent at it. You know what I mean? Because I always loved jiu-jitsu. But if you were to say I'm only properly striking since January, you know what I mean? And the hands are coming into play a bit. I still have a lot more to work on, obviously, with timing and shot selection. But the way I see it right now is it's like right now the way me wrestling's working and me jiu-jitsu's working, I don't really need to strike with anyone right now. You know what I mean? Because we take down offense and defense, and it's like I haven't been taken down in like 4 fights. Like I don't think I've even lost a round. I've won all my fights by unanimous decision, you know. And it's like I know for a fact that my striking, you'll see my striking when I need to use it. Makes sense?
Yeah,
Yep.
Max, like obviously you're definitely one to watch. We've had you on before. It's saying it. Everyone already knew it anyhow. Sometimes if you need us to say it. But like you're like another thing that people notice as well. Like you're like it's as if you're a pro, Max. The way you're going on, like you're obviously working full time. You're training out these 3 gyms. Can you just explain like briefly how you sort of break down what days you train in certain gyms, and like do you write everything down, or what way do you sort of like keep everything light?
Oh yeah, I
You're
take
not going to the
notes,
wrong
yeah.
gym.
I take notes of everything I do, and all my fights I've taken A4 pages down the notes. What I'll do is I'll run through them notes and I'll scan them. I'm very good I have a very good attention to detail. Like I can pick something up very quickly when I'm looking at something. If I'm there and I'm looking at something, I can break it down within about 2-3 minutes, you know. But that's the biggest thing. Every fight I had, even NTB first one against your man Porrig Hannon, I was examining what I could have done better. Even though I submitted Porrig in the first round, there was still about 3 or 4 things I needed to work on that could have been a bit better. You know what I mean? And people see that as flawless performance. I'm never satisfied with a performance. I'm always looking to try and prove myself, no matter what. I can never be I'll never walk away from a fight and be satisfied. You can say enemy coaches. There's always that one thing that I need to work on. And I think the biggest thing I took away from Maga when I fought Maga was I was getting stuck in a single leg position. Every time they come in, they reach for the Kimura grip. It was like I was almost static, and I just couldn't get going from that position. So I think there before that fight with Alex Conley, all I was doing was working on it with Roddy and Sergey. That was it. The only thing I was working on. I knew everything else would flow into motion once I hit that. So basically, I got in the same position, and like I got through the defense, that Kimura defense from the single leg, and I went straight out to his back. You know what I mean? And it's like people don't really see that because I don't even need to mention it. You know what I mean? But I do. I take notes down and I study. You know what I mean? I actually study the game because it's that's what you need to do if you want to get good. You know what I mean? You need to be obsessed with it. And I'm so obsessed with the sport, like beyond obsessed. Like I'm even sitting here and I'm thinking in my head, what fights am I gonna watch later? You know what I mean? Like that's all I think about. All I think about is fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can you tell us what way your week works as well, Max? Because like there's 7
no
days a week,
problem.
and there's a lot of times.
Traditionally, when I'm kind of in fight camp, usually in the mornings, I'll go down. I take my 6:30 jiu-jitsu class. I take that on a Monday and a Wednesday. And what I'll do is I'll sleep in the gym usually up until 11, and I'll train at 11 till about I think it's 1 o'clock. Like.
Is that Nace?
No, that's in Charlestown.
In Charlestown,
right?
So. Yeah. That's what I'll do on the Monday, and then I'll rest, go home, get a bit of bite to eat, and then I'll train in Collies then from 6 o'clock till usually about 8, half 8.
Yeah, that's DCA.
By the time I get showered, that's what it's like most days. Then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I get down to Collies. Or what I'll do is what I actually kind of focused on. My last camp was a lot of power work and strength work because I'm trying to fill out. I feel like right now I obviously have a lot more to grow and stuff like that, but I want to build my frame a bit, become a bit of a bigger lightweight, because I feel like right now I'd be a bit too big to go to featherweight. I wouldn't want to kill myself to go to featherweight, but I could get the featherweight if I wanted to, I feel like. But right now it's like that's not what it's about. Right now I want to grow. I want to be able to eat. I want to be able to like just get bigger, you know what I mean? But bigger in like that like positive frame, like almost like a Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor type of lightweight, you know what I mean? So I really focused on me power and me strength in my last camp. So I was usually doing that on a Tuesday and a Thursday morning. And then Tuesday nights I'd get down, I'd do my MMA striking and MMA wrestling with Roddy. Wednesdays I'd be down to Charlestown doing my 6:30, and then I'm training at 11. And then I get down to Charlestown later on that evening for MMA striking and MMA wrestling. Thursday morning I usually get down to Collie. And then later on that evening, I'll go down to Sergey's for some Greco-Roman wrestling, freestyle wrestling. Friday, Friday, I'll usually go down to Charlestown in the morning for 11, and then I'll do the doghouse rounds and Sergey's, the wrestling ones, at 7. Saturday, I'll do me strongman session with John Connors in the ISI. I usually might get a treatment or something done off, like get a bit of dry needling or a massage or something to loosen up the body a bit. And then on Sunday, I work. And that's my week.
Hashtag no days off, what?
Ross,
you know what?
That's setting the standards, Ross.
For me, is like more of an active recovery, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to sit in the house and not do anything.
Ross, what you make of that for an amateur? Like what you make of that? No offense, like I mean, like what you make of that? Like that's
well, like it's not an amateur. Like that's a professional who just hasn't fought or that's a professional who hasn't fought a professional fight yet. That's the way I look at it. Max, tell us this. Obviously, you've gone 4-0 now as an amateur. You're one of the most talked about names in the country. It's undeniable. Do you feel like there's a target on your back? Do you feel like someone wants to be the first person to scalp you?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm waiting for that person to come scalp me. You know what I mean? I love having that target on me back. Because if I have that target on my back, I'm just gonna get more fights, haven't I?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's
I
the way
think
we see it.
who did I say? I think Ben Hughes said he wanted to maybe fight you in at the next Cage Legacy show. What you make of that fight?
Cool. Let's fucking have it, like, you know what I mean? I'm just sorry, my course there, but let's have it, like, you know what I mean? I don't care, like, names aren't really anything to me. I just know if I'm going into a fight, I have the skill set to finish anyone in the country, I believe, you know what I mean? So whoever they want to put in front of me, bring it on. I'm the champion of OUR and I'm the champion of Cage Legacy, and champions defend belts. So whoever wants to come forward and try to take them off me, go right ahead.
Obviously, you train with a man who calls himself the belt collector, Andreas Binder.
Yeah.
Is that something that you might look at doing? Maybe going up to Cage Conflict and maybe a trip to Clan Wars and try and collect all the belts?
No, definitely. I just float about trying to get as much belts as I can. You know what I mean? As much fights as I can. Honestly, being honest with you, the belts. It's actually a funny story with Cage Legacy. I only found out fighting for Cage Legacy when I was fighting Andrew. I only found out that was for a belt like a few days before the fight. I think
that was our fault.
The face to face. I was when I found out it was for a light. I was like, "It's for a belt, is it?" I hadn't a clue. But it's purely for me. It's purely about cage time. You know what I mean? I want to be in there and I want to be fighting. I want to be getting better. Like for obviously the pro. Like I'd like to go pro when I'm about 19 or 20. I'm 18 now, but I believe next year I could get about 15 amateur fights easily. Like easily, you know what I mean? That's my target, just to get as much fights as possible. Now, obviously, there's gonna be a bit of recovery in between. I'm not gonna be burning myself out or anything like that. You know what I mean? But right now, I'm after taking them 4 fights. Hasn't taken a whole lot out of me. I've come out of every single one injury free. Nothing wrong with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with my lifestyle. Like I'll never really go out drinking. I don't drink at all. Like I don't drink alcohol. I don't do like anything like that. I'm really I'm really committed to this. You know what I mean? I don't think a whole lot of people are as committed to me. This is genuinely my life. You know what I mean?
But as the promoters around the country are foaming at the mouth, knowing that Max Lally's going to fight 15 times next year.
You can hear Declan Kenna into the DMs right now. Like, Max, before we go,
if he's coming back to Ashbourne in March, we'll have that place bleeding happen like I did the last time.
But we definitely want to get into what you have planned for 2022. But to sort of wrap up 2021, what like if you could give it like a sentence or a word or a feeling, what like winning the goals, going 4-0, getting all the belts, like what has been the main thing about 2021 that sticks out to you?
2021 first half of the year was horrible for me. Like, you know what I mean? I was making that transition into MMA and I was getting slapped around by everyone in my gyms. You know what I mean? I was, and I'll be honest about it.
I'm laughing because not many people are that honest. You know.
No, you have to be honest. It's a ruthless sport. And I tell you, like, even some of the hidings I would have got off Jer Hardis, Scott Harvey, all the lads, some of the hidings I would have gotten, you know what I mean? Because I was the little fucker that I was always, my mom's going to batter me, lads. Like, she's actually going to batter me when she watches this. But, like, some of the hidings I would have got, like, because I was always the little fella in jiu-jitsu tapping everyone out. No one could get me and no one was near me. And I loved that. But then I had to take a step outside my comfort zone, didn't I? So I took that step out of my comfort zone, and for about 3 months, I was miserable. I was like, I couldn't even submit anyone because everything's so much different in that MMA style compared to my jiu-jitsu style. It was like I was submission only. I was trying to submit everyone from everywhere, but sometimes in MMA that doesn't work. It either presents itself or it doesn't, you know? And I just made that, and I stayed patient with it, and I stayed consistent with it. And then I think over the summer, that's when I really kind of jumped in a few levels, you know what I mean? Because I was obviously staying consistent at it. But, like, I would have only, like, the world title and the 4 amateur fights. Realistically, I want to aim bigger for next year. I'm always trying to aim for bigger, but wrapped up, I'm definitely pretty satisfied. I would have liked to get 5 fights now from September. That was my goal, was to get 5 fights. But I actually ended up not managing to get it.
Ross, you can buzz it down to Kerrigan's now if you want.
Get the 5th one in. Not too late.
Shot flipped a few turkeys.
A few turkeys.
Stop. I'd say you don't want this smoke, but let's be honest, Max wants all the smoke, so I can't even lie. Max, like, what an incredible year 2021 was. Like, obviously we thought, you know, no one as an amateur had a better year than you did, But someone who I did want to touch on, someone who you've probably trained with, is Conor McCarthy. We actually saw him at Cage Legacy as well. Obviously, he changed out of SPG Nate. He looks like he's going to be a phenom himself. Like,
he is.
I couldn't get over how good his boxing was.
He's bleeding. He's an animal. He's one I love having him, and I'm so lucky to have him because he's in that same mix as me. He's training now with Charlestown, and he's training now in Ace with me. Like, you know what I mean? So when we have that bond, but Conor he's very good. Like, he's very, very good in his boxing abilities. He's a bleeding piston of a right hand. He's a very, very good sparring partner for me. And I'll spar with him. I'll spar with Andreas. I'll spar with a few of the lads, and they're really, really good bodies for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm getting tested in size and obviously like technical ability. Because Conor has a set of tasty hands on him. Like, you know what I mean? But definitely, like, we fought so far on, I think 3 cards together. It's been 3 cards. It's been. And I definitely think we'll be fighting on a whole lot more together. Like, you know what I mean? I think he's 3-0. Is he 3-0 now? I'm 4-0. You know what I mean? And it's nice to have that kind of bond coming up together. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he almost reminded me of like a young Ian Gary, and like that's sort of weird to say because Ian Gary's 23, but
the young.
the way he finished that last fight, I was like, his boxing, it was just so crisp and clean. You know what I mean? He slipped 1 or 2 shots, and I was like,
it was a step back right. I think it was. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Baz, you were very impressed as well, weren't you?
Yeah, but he was another person walking in with Peter Creedy, who was behind him as well. He had like a huge, a lot of people down supporting him as well. So when you see that, when they have the fans there as well, like even Elvis got the win there as well. But there wasn't that many people like supporting him. So when you see someone with a load of backing, you're more like, wow, like what, you have to keep a closer eye on this person as well.
The way it works is, it's like with Conor, I know all my mates are gonna scream for Conor, and I know all the Conor's people are gonna scream for me. You know what I mean? That's the bond. You know what I mean? Oh, like, and it's almost kind of beautiful, isn't it? Because it's like, I don't know this bloke, but he trains with my mate, and if he trains with my mate, I'm supporting him. That's the way it is. Because if you're seeing him on Conor Schwarzer, man, you're seeing him even peeing up there in the mix. You're seeing him sprinting towards the cage, throwing a few shapes. It was brilliant to look at. I was delighted. But like, it's just not better than that. That's MMA. That's a community. You know what I mean? And it's everyone getting behind each other.
Come here, there's a funny story, right, about Owen Roddy, right? He was fighting Ross. What was that event? Remember the story? And his mate came down the Titantron and started saying, give us a fight. He's like, I can't bet the fight. And he was like, oh, fuck off then, and fucked off. And then Owen told us who that guy was. That guy reminds me of your man Pino.
Yeah, he does.
If Owen's listening to the story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. What a nickname.
He just be at all the fights as well, yeah. He just be around.
He's the 50 Cent to your Floyd Mayweather. That's who he is.
Oh, he is. Peanut, man. Me and him go back years. Even playing football and everything. We would have went back like years. You know what I mean? Even all my other boys as well. Like,
come here. Here's the real May question. Can he go into your gaff and open the fridge? Can he?
Oh, he can. Yeah,
that's the boundary I see. You know what I mean? Like when Baz comes to my ma's gaff, like, you know what I mean? Like, good luck getting offered a cup of tea. You can make one himself. You know what I mean? And like that's the level. You know what I mean? Like when you're making your own cup of tea in the gaff, like that's it.
Sure, like my family would see Peanut as like a little, like, he's my little big brother. I'm a year older than him. Like, you know what I mean? He's my little big brother, like, you know what I mean? He's always welcome in my gaff, like, we always to be out with each other and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But me and him would be like, even on my other lads as well, like, with my friend group, like, I've been mates with them all since like 4th class, 5th class, you know what I mean? Like, very young. That would have been about maybe 10, 11. And I've had the same group of mates right up until now, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
never
it's
very
important. That's very important.
Never like all the groups or anything like that, you know what I mean?
So
it's good to have that like support, not just in my family but in my friends.
Yeah,
and have you found anyone
group of friends with you, by the way, as well? It's once you trust and once you want to see you go down the right path as well. That's another thing to look out for as well.
Definitely.
And Max, have you found anyone trying to like infiltrate your friend group now since you started to grow? Someone trying to grab some of that clout on the way up?
Yeah, like us too.
You get a few, but you just kind of have to. You just have to kind of smile and wave. You know what I mean? Smile and wave. It's the best way to do it. I know, like, I'll never have that. Like, I'll never be mean or be like horrible to anyone like that. I'm just so laid back. If you want to be friends with me and you want to support me, I just match energy. You know what I mean? That's all I do. You want to give me negative energy, I'll just cancel it out, you know what I mean? Which is like a very chilled out mindset that I have. But like, I know who the real ones are. And it's been the real ones that have been there since day one. Like, you know, like first, second, third year, would have got a few slaggings and all for doing MMA and all that, you know what I mean? Like everyone like does. But like, I know the real ones who like believed in me from the start, you know what I mean? It'll be like that till I get to the very top.
The proof's in the pudding. Max, like obviously like 2022 is just around the corner. We hopefully you have a very good Christmas. But like, what do you do now? Do you sit down with all each team that you train with and make a plan, or who do you sit down mainly with to make a plan for 2022?
So basically, I already have kind of a plan made with Sergey and Roddy. My plan is now I'm kind of maintaining 74 kilo over Christmas. And what I'll do then in January, I'll kind of cut down then to about 73, 72.5. And I'll train that way, because for the IMAS I have to maintain 70 across the 5 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the IMAPs are actually on in January, aren't they?
What?
The IMAPs are on in January, aren't they?
January, yeah. January 24th is the 4 days. I think I'll fly out on the 21st or the 22nd.
Dubai, isn't it?
Dubai. Never been to Dubai before.
Man, I wish it was somewhere nice.
Apparently January's like they're like summer as well over there, like, you know what I mean?
That'll be brilliant. Is there any other cards?
I don't know.
Is there any other cards you're planning on getting on as well?
Sorry, can I do?
Ross, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other cards in 2022 you like people see you on?
I'd like to get on. Honestly, lads, I don't care anywhere. Like, if they have a fight and they want to challenge me against someone good that'll test me and stuff like that, cool.
And your plan obviously to go over to the IMAS again is go over and win it again.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Look, I'm not going over there for like experience or anything. I'm going over there to win. Like, simple as. That's my mentality. And if we do lose and all, that'll only push me more. But I'm fixed on that number one spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you win it, Max, would you be the first youth and senior IMAF champion of all time?
Pretty sure I would. Yeah, I don't think there has been anyone else yet.
And I'm
pretty sure I would.
How do you get funding for that? Are you looking for a sponsor still, or
I've got like my whole town has gotten together and like have got the money together for me. I'm very, very grateful for it. I'll give a shout out to a few. MSL Skoda, Darren McGallagher, mate, he looked after me. Ariosa Coffee as well in Ashbourne, they looked after me. Barry Shaw Electrical looked after me too. Loads of other names, and they all came together. And I was so kind of blown away, because I hate doing that. It's something I don't like doing. I feel like I'm begging for money, but it was almost like they came together and they were like, we want you to go over. We want you to represent Ashbourne, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm proud to live in Ashbourne, you know what I mean? I've lived there half my life. So it's like, I will gladly go out and I represent Ashbourne. I represent everyone around me. I represent everyone who sponsored me, friends, family, coaches, club, everything, you know what I mean? And I just want to be that. I just represent myself as best as I possibly can. And there's nothing fake about it at all. It's like me. I'm always just being myself. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's ever put on. I'm never being something that I'm not. You know what I mean? And I think people can see that and they're starting to almost respect it a bit now. You know what I mean?
I don't think it gets much realer than...
going away. Like, it just fucking made me so happy.
I was going to say, I don't think it gets much realer than the storerooms of Kerrigan's Butchers.
Oh, it doesn't. Look at that. All the sauces and all.
Love it. Show us how the sausage is made, as they say, Basmo.
Yeah, exactly. Max, like, it's been brilliant following you this year, and like just even the Irish MMA scene, how it's opening back up, and like even the way, like, even being a Cage Legacy, it was almost like being at like a UFC Dublin roster. It was like the most like professional amateur event ever, with the fans and everyone was just so involved. It was so brilliant, especially now people going through hard times, mental health, people not getting 100%. Training in. It's a beautiful thing to see, and long may it continue. But like, before we wrap things up, Max, like, is there anything else to people you want to put, let them know, or put something out there that you want to achieve in 2022? Like, the floor is yours right now, bud.
The only thing I want to achieve in 2022 is happiness, because I am happy now, but I just want to be more. Right now, like, I don't want anything, you know what I mean? I just want to fight. I want to do what makes me happy. Like, I'm the type of person that, like, since I've left school and all, I left school this year. I left in September, and everyone was almost like, oh, you were meant to leave in school and all that. But I knew the day I left school, I was waking up every morning, like, motivated to go train, motivated to fight. You know what I mean? That motivation. I wake up every single morning with that motivation. And the days, sometimes you get the odd day that you don't wake up with it. That's when your loved ones are there to push it when you don't want to do something, like, you know what I mean? And that's me mom, me dad, therefore they can always keep it real with me, you know what I mean? But if you want to talk about 2022, more fights, more belts, more titles. That's
Staying
all.
amateur.
Yeah, no, I'd probably stay amateur next year. I want to get in as much fights.
Good.
I'll know myself, and my coaches will know.
Mm.
I'm the type of person that my coach telling me to jump off a cliff, I jump off a cliff. You know what I mean? Whatever they say goes. You know what I mean? That's how much trust I have in them.
Ross, like obviously we've had some very talented youngsters coming on the show before, and like Max is most certainly one of them, if not like one of the best. What do you expect from Max in 2022 as well? And you wrap up the show after that as well, bud.
Look, I expect Max to go all the way to the top. Like I think he's leading the next wave of Irish MMA talent. Like there are some phenomenal fighters coming out of this country at the moment at amateur level. The likes of Max, Ronan Deegan, Oisin Fox, Ryan Keogh, Conor McCarthy, Kyle Sullivan. Like the list goes on and on and on in terms of the amateur scene. And like I can't wait to see where these guys go next. Obviously, Dubai is Max's next step. That's where all of his focus is going to be now. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Max went over there and won a gold medal. In fact, I expect him to medal at some stage. I know that doesn't put any extra pressure on him because he expects to win. That's the type of guy he is.
Then he's out here.
Look, let Dubai happen. I expect him to go over there and represent himself and his country and his family well. And I think, sky's the limit for him, and I really do mean that. It wouldn't matter if you were here or you weren't here, or we were recording live or you weren't recording live. I'd say the same thing to Barry. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, you're training like a pro, even though you haven't had that first pro fight yet.
Yeah.
And like, I love it. I love to see someone who is chasing their dreams and they're going all in on it. Guys, if you have enjoyed this podcast, which I'm sure you have, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to how you don't miss any of that Energized exclusive content. And as always,
Stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.